Hello, my name is Harry, and welcome to the Learn English with British Harry podcast. These podcasts are designed for you to be immersed in English. What does it mean to be immersed in English? Well, literally to surround yourself with English. The more that you can be exposed to English, interact with English, the easier and more enjoyable it will be to improve your English. So, how are you today? I hope you're well. Today is the last day of 2024 and I can't believe it. The year has flown by, but it feels like that every year, that the time just goes by extremely quickly and we are heading into 2025. So I hope everyone is well. Now, thinking about 2025, how will you improve your speaking and your general English? Well, I have 3 tips for you to improve your English in 2025. The first tip is to overcome your fear of speaking. Now, this is only natural, especially as adults, we can become scared of making mistakes. We don't want to feel embarrassed because as an adult, you've had to do a lot of things already in your life and you've worked really hard to improve those skills. And when you're having to learn a new skill or do something new, it's extremely difficult to accept that you're going to have lots of failures along the way. But I think reframing failure as not failing but growing. So each time you make a mistake, be proud of yourself because you're improving, you're moving forward, you're allowing your brain to assimilate the information and make the connections. So whether it's new vocabulary, grammar, or an idiom or a phrase, when you hear this, you can try to reinforce that learning. I'm a firm believer in active learning because once you learn a vocabulary word, it's really nice to use that in your daily life. So to help you to overcome the fear of speaking, try to make small talk with yourself. So for example, when you are making dinner, talk to yourself. You can talk out loud, which is really beneficial, or you can talk in your head. Describe the actions that you are doing. If you are chopping up an onion, if you are cutting a tomato, if you are frying some eggs. So narrate your activity. This is really useful. And along the way, you will find that you can start to have a conversation with yourself. So maybe I should dice the tomato smaller, or maybe I should cut the onion larger. This way, it's a bit more fun and it reinforces the learning. At first, it will be a bit strange, especially if people are listening to you thinking, what's this guy talking about? So it's very helpful to start talking to yourself. I think it's really good. You can also plan your day. Describe your plan for your day, especially when you wake up in the morning and when you go to sleep at night. I find these moments have been really beneficial for my students because it's a quiet time of the day. You're just lying in bed and it's really useful, especially before you go to sleep. As you start to think about, okay, tomorrow I will go to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning. I might do exercise my shoulders and my arms. I think I will have a smoothie when I come home from the gym. I have these tasks to do. So it's really beneficial. And then in the morning, you can reinforce that. So today, this morning, I have to do X, Y, and Z. In the afternoon, I have to meet my friend for a coffee, for example. Now, another thing you can do to overcome your fear of speaking is to record yourself. This is really beneficial. You can set up the camera or just turn on the voice recording on your phone or your laptop, and do the same thing. Narrate your day and listen back. And at first, you may feel a sense of cringe listening to your voice, but the more that you do it, the better you will become, because you will hear a certain pronunciation or a certain grammatical error, and you can start to pick up on that. And even if you don't, that's fine, because the more that you do this, the more that you're making your learning interactive. It's not passive, it's more interactive. And remember, when you're speaking a language, everyone makes mistakes, small mistakes all of the time. It's more about the message that you're trying to convey. Can you articulate your thoughts? This is the main aim of improving your English, is to get to a point where you feel comfortable with expressing yourself and you become more coherent. So coherence is when an idea logically flows into another idea. And remember, it's not a linear experience. So when you're describing something, you can go off into lots of tangents, but then you can combine this information together. And that's why learning a language is so fun, because you can express yourself, you can make connections with other people, and the more that you overcome the fear of speaking, the more enjoyable it is. It actually becomes very creative. Number 2 is to immerse yourself in English. To really improve your English, immerse yourself, try to be surrounded by English. Watch British TV shows, YouTube videos, songs, even on your phone. You can change the language settings to English. And this way it forces you to be surrounded by English, reading newspaper articles as well every day. So when you get into the habit of being surrounded by English, it starts to seep into your head via osmosis. So osmosis is when something filters slowly from where there's a lot of something to where there is a little amount of something. So this information will start to seep into your brain. Listening to these podcasts is a fantastic way to immerse yourself in English, whether you are at the gym, doing some housework, or just pottering around the house, and you listen to these podcasts, you're hearing some new vocabulary words, you're hearing the stress on certain words and the rhythm of speech. So immersing yourself is a fantastic way to improve your English. The third way to improve your English in 2025 is to write. Now, I find that writing has almost become old-fashioned now. I'm guilty of that myself. I hardly write, although I do try to keep a journal. And especially when I started my fitness journey, I wrote down everything that I was eating. And this really was a brilliant exercise to take accountability. So having a notebook and a pen, writing down your daily activities, your daily routines. You can also write your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. You can even take it one step further and write short stories. And just the act of using a pen and writing is brilliant. Now, you can also write online, social media posts. I encourage you to write in the comments to let me know how you are. How is your day going? What have you done today? So these are very good to, again, reinforce the learning. So when you have written something down and you look at the words, you think, wow, I wrote those words. Now, that can add to a sense of pressure, because when you are writing, you have many attempts at looking at it and trying to find the perfect word. This is why keeping a private journal is so good, because you allow yourself to overcome that fear of making mistakes. So you can just write about anything. And I think it's a really good way, another active way to improve your English. So as you can see, the theme for improving your English in 2025 is to be more active. When you watch some of my videos, watch them a few times, write down the vocabulary words, and try to use them in your day-to-day life, even if you're talking with yourself. It's really, really beneficial. So I hope those tips have helped you. Now, as we go into 2025, it feels like another year, but this year will be positive. I really believe that when you have good intentions, when you have a strong belief that you can make this year a brilliant year, it will become a brilliant year. I remember when I was younger and I read this book called The Luck Factor. And this psychologist, he followed people for many years to find out if they were really lucky. And he discovered that luck was due to having more opportunities. Now, you can create more opportunities by having new experiences and improving your learning. In a sense, you can create your own luck. So I believe that when a situation gets difficult, and if you have a belief that this year is going to be fantastic, then you will find a way to circumvent, to go around, to go through that particular obstacle. You don't let anything hold you back because you have a strong belief. And I really believe that you can improve your English. Just keep working hard, have belief in yourself, keep immersing yourself in English, and make it fun and enjoyable. Having a goal is important as well. If you think about the benefits of learning English, it allows you to have more career opportunities, even educational opportunities. It it gave me a sense of freedom. And that's what learning English does. It gives you a sense of freedom because with the car, now I could go anywhere that I wanted to. I didn't have to rely on someone for a lift. I didn't have to take public transport and wait for the bus. Now I could take control. It's the same thing with English. As you become more proficient in English, you'll have more opportunities, more career opportunities. You can travel wherever you want to, and you won't have that fear. So just keep practicing, and I know you will improve. So last time we had a look at the first part of the quiz, and today we're going to look at part 2. So part 2 covers April to June in 2024. So the first question is, tens of millions of people in North America watched day turn to night in April as a solar eclipse cut its way across Mexico, the US, and Canada, which was the first US state to experience totality: Arizona, New Mexico, or Texas. So this is a complete guess. I will go for Texas. Let's have a look. Okay, and Texas it is. 5 horses belonging to the Army's household cavalry caused chaos in London as they ran through the city centre, colliding with several vehicles, including a double-decker bus. The animals threw off their riders after being spooked by what noise? So being spooked is when you are scared by something. This is an informal word. So these things seem to be quite commonplace. If there's a horse in London, I'm sure they've heard a lot of these things. A vehicle backfiring is less common, I think. But then we have gunfire, which is also less common. So let's go for gunfire. Oh, building work. It must have been some extremely loud building work for the horses to be spooked. Caitlin Clark's record-breaking college basketball career came to a close with her defeat in her final game before turning professional. Clark scored more than 3,900 points in her time, more than any college athlete in history. Whose record did she break? LeBron James, Pete Maravich, Kelsey Plum. I think I missed this story, so this is going to be another complete guess. I go with LeBron James because LeBron, I've heard of the name LeBron. Let's see if this is correct. No, it's Pete Maravich. The Scottish National Party's Humza Yousaf resigned as the First Minister of Scotland after little more than a year in the post. His departure followed the collapse of a power-sharing deal with which party? Scottish Greens, Scottish Labour, Scottish Liberal Democrats. I'm going to show my lack of Scottish political knowledge here. I will go with, let's see here, power-sharing deal. So power sharing, I think about the environment. So we have greens, something green. Let's try Scottish Greens. Okay, so that was a bit logical. It was Scottish Greens. Switzerland's Nemo won the Eurovision Song Contest in the Swedish city of Malmö in May with the entry The Code. Which country's entry was disqualified from the grand final after an alleged backstage altercation? So an altercation here is something happened backstage. It could have been an argument. It could have been something physical. Or an argument. So something happened. Okay, so was it Ireland, Israel, or Netherlands? I will go with Netherlands. And it is Netherlands. Okay, so here the singer was removed just hours before the grand final after an alleged altercation with a camera woman, which he denied. Okay, let's go to the next one. Donald Trump became the first former or sitting US president to be convicted in a criminal trial as he was found guilty of breaking election law. What crime did prosecutors say he committed? Conspiring to overturn the 2020 presidential election result in Georgia, disguising hush money as legal expenses, exaggerating the value of his business. So he was guilty of breaking election law. I think any one of these here could be the answer. Conspiring to overturn. Let's have a look. Disguising hush money. Okay. So hush money is something which is paid to keep another person quiet. So it's quite an interesting story. Next up, question 7. Zendaya, Nicki Minaj, and Barry Cogan were among the big names to dazzle on the red carpet at the annual Met Gala in New York. The dress code was the Garden of Time, which celebrity accessorized their outfit with a rose in a block of ice? Camila Cabello, Ariana Grande, Katy Perry. Well, I've heard of these two, Ariana Grande and Katy Perry. I will go with Katy Perry. Oh no, Camila Cabello. That's a new name. So she's a singer-songwriter. Question 8. An American football star caused an outcry by telling female college graduates one of the most important roles in life would be a homemaker, as well as criticizing abortion and LGBT pride. For which NFL team does Harrison Butker play? Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, Tennessee Titans. I'm showing my complete lack of knowledge here. I'll go with Dallas Cowboys. No, Kansas City Chiefs. The UK's largest new indoor entertainment arena suffered a very bumpy start. Resignations, falling debris, and concerts cancelled at the last minute delayed the opening of Co-op Live in Manchester, which pop act had been due to open the UK leg of their world tour here. Olivia Rodrigo, Bruce Springsteen, Taylor Swift. So here we have this a nice word here, resignation. So when you resign is when you voluntarily leave your job. It's different to being sacked or being fired, which is the employer's decision. If you resign, it's the employee's decision. Falling debris. So debris are bits of material that are falling. So this could, in my head, I'm imagining falling debris from the ceiling. So it implies that the building was not built to a good standard. Okay, so I will go with Taylor Swift. No, Olivia Rodrigo. Okay. Tributes were paid to broadcaster Dr. Michael Mosley, who died after going missing while on holiday in June. In which country had Dr. Mosley and his wife been staying? France, Greece, or Italy? I remember this was a very big story. And Dr. Michael Mosley, he was one of an important figure in promoting intermittent fasting. He was in a lot of BBC documentaries about it. I think this is Greece. So in Greece, this was quite a big story at that time because it was incredibly hot in Greece. So that's a very sad story there. More than 200,000 music fans gathered at Glastonbury Festival to see sets from Coldplay, Shania Twain, Little Sims, Dua Lipa, and many more. After a rumoured Sunday evening set by Madonna fell through, which star headlined the last night? Doja Cat, Janella Monáe, SZA. So here to see sets. So sets, this means a collection of songs. So for example, Coldplay would play their favorite sets, or not necessarily their favorite sets, but the songs that are incredibly popular with other people. Let's try SZA, and it is, even though I'm not sure who SZA is, but now I know. Question 12. Former Mexico City Mayor Claudia Sheinbaum was elected Mexico's first female president in a historic landslide win. What was her profession before politics? Businesswoman, energy scientist, or lawyer? Okay, this is a complete shot in the dark. I'll say lawyer. Energy scientist. So she studied physics before gaining a doctorate in energy engineering. Question 13. Astronauts Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore saw an 8-day trip to the International Space Station turn into a much longer stay after their spacecraft was found to have big problems after launch. Which part of the Boeing Starliner had a fault? Heat shield, radiators, or thrusters? Now, I do remember this particular story, and I do know that their return back to Earth was delayed, but I can't remember the actual fault. I would say possibly thrusters. Okay, now I was thinking thrusters because they are the part of the space shuttle which would propel them forward, give them energy and momentum to travel towards Earth. So let's have a look at my score here. 7 out of 13. So I'm in the Spaceballs category. Okay. So let me know what your score was. That quiz, I think, honestly was quite difficult. But what stories do you remember from the year. I think around the world we have the numerous wars going on. I think those stories dominated the news headlines. But I think AI really took a step forward this year, which was really interesting to see. I think on a personal note, I'm an avid Arsenal supporter. I don't know if you like sports, but I love football and I love supporting Arsenal. I've supported them for over 30 years. And this season has been a bit of a strange season because Manchester City have had a big dip. Now, Manchester City, they've dominated the Premier League. They've had a vast amount of money to be able to spend to buy the best players. Not only the best players, but the best players for the positions. So they've had excellent backup, whereas other teams have been on bare bones. Bare bones is just to have the basic amount. So you can have the bare bones in terms of the players in the team, or you can have, for example, bare bones. I traveled across Europe with the bare bones. So I just had the essentials, the things that I needed in my backpack. Whereas Arsenal, yes, they have had some money to spend, and it's a bit of an anticlimax because the last 2 seasons they became title contenders after a long period of time of not doing well and suffering. And if you're a football fan, you know that suffering and being happy when your team wins goes hand in hand. And it's been surprising because Liverpool have just done an amazing job, even when their manager has left, who was iconic, who'd managed Liverpool for many, many years, and he decided to leave. And I thought, right, this is an opportunity for Arsenal to capitalize, but it wasn't the case because the new manager that's come into Liverpool has just galvanized the squad. He's brought everyone together and they're playing better than they were under the old manager who revolutionized the club. So it's very surprising and a bit disheartening because I thought Arsenal had a chance. So that would be quite interesting to see what happens with that next year. Thanks for watching so far. I hope you found the tips on how to improve your English useful and the quiz informative, if not challenging. I found it quite challenging. So where are you watching from is quite interesting for me to know where are you from as we go into 2025. I think this will be a fantastic year. I think this will be a brilliant year. I think this will be the year for overcoming obstacles, for making your dreams a reality or building the pathway. I'm a firm believer in the compounding effect. And that is when you want to improve, you think about improving each day. And there will be obstacles in your way. There may be self-talk in your way. But I think it's really important to keep believing, being positive, knowing what your goals are, what your targets are. And that way you can develop a really good routine. And so it's only natural. You're going to have some days when you're not going to be motivated. And for example, learning English is going to be the last thing you're thinking about. But incorporating it into your life, being immersed in English and being immersed in any hobby or activity or something that you really want to improve, I think is the best way to actually make your dreams a reality. Just taking a sip of coffee there. So, thank you so much for watching. This year has been amazing. Thank you so much to everyone for watching these videos, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for sharing. I appreciate it so much, and I'm eternally grateful. So, let's keep moving forward and make this year the best year. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Happy New Year, and bye-bye.